Thank you, sir. Here we go.
Okay,
Good
let's go.
word.
Mm.
Manners, my friends. Manners
Well,
are
you're talking
important.
to, mister.
You got to be careful on how you talk to the ladies, that's for sure. Okay? Because you know why? Because they deserve lots of respect. Indeed.
Remember, the word man is also in manners.
That's true.
Oh, there we
Sure.
go.
Kristen's always got something. Always got a little something.
I got boys. I got boys.
She's always got a little
That
cheese to
sounds
sprinkle
like
on
a
it.
mother comment right there.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Loan Officer Breakfast Club. Glad to have you all here. We do have Owen Lee in the house today. It's going to be a good day. And, we'll just kind of get started here. I'm just curious to see how everybody's doing this morning. Man, it's Thursday. We're zooming in on the weekend. How's the week been so far with y'all? Would love to hear how maybe, yesterday was Wednesday, and so we focus on our past clients. I'm just curious if, as you guys are piling in, if anybody had any success with past client calls yesterday. If you managed to dig something up, I'd like to hear about that. That'd be good. In the meantime, while we are waiting to hear all of those wonderful stories, let's say good morning to Kelly Dutton real fast. Kelly Dutton, are you here? I think I saw you somewhere.
Yes.
Oh, you're there. Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm good. So have you funded any, $50 million high rises lately or anything like that? Or, any mixed use pig farm / Walmart, facilities or anything? Or
No, Jimmy's on the pipeline. He's got one coming in. It's coming in hard and fast. It's probably going to be the fastest SBA 504 loan I've ever done in my life.
what do they do? What's the business?
The business is a spice company, huge expansion. So-
What company?
Spices,
Spices.
like not just a little bit of spices, like spices beyond what any of you and I would imagine. In Chicago, Illinois. So it's an interesting deal, and I think Jimmy can tell you it's interesting. They're buying a huge warehouse and expanding by a 40% increase in their business. So it's to me, it's really interesting. The people are just kind people. Jimmy's been great. A chase for the paperwork is on. As anybody knows, if you do 504, it is a paperwork chase. So
Yeah.
but he's been nothing but helpful. He is on. It's going to be a big loan, big ass loan. So
Like what do you say is big? What's a big loan?
it's over
How big is that loan?
Over $5 million for SBA. So
Woo!
it's a biggie. It's a big
So
one.
who's
for SBA.
got that? Jimmy Finance has got that? Who's got that?
Jimmy Finance has it.
Is he here?
Man.
Oh, he's
Jimmy
here.
Finance, you mean?
He's here.
Jimmy.
And
Jimmy.
looking spicy.
Yes,
Looking quite spicy. Yes.
he's in the house. Thank you, Kelly. Yes.
Um,
Yeah,
Jimmy,
this is a
how'd you
past database loan.
Tell us about it. How'd you find that? Yeah.
Clients of mine that I've done their 1-to-4s for, and over the years, and also kind of consulted with them on business ideas and capitalization. And they had a deal in place with a large credit union, and they showed me the paper, and I said, "You have to run with this deal. This is a great deal." Well, it was too good to be true. They came back to me. Went through Kelly, we put it together, and they're ecstatic. And we're taking cash out of one of their warehouses, using that as a down payment on the new one. The total, it's going to be on the SBA side, is just over 5, but then the other one is a little over 2, so 7 million. You do the math, and every little bit helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
But it's
Wow.
it's right from it's a past database call. Just keeping in touch with people. I do their stuff, her brother's stuff, and her brother's mother-in-law and father-in-law's stuff. All the so
Well, that's pretty cool, man. And it was, thank goodness we had Kelly, huh? That you could lean on her and get something going.
Yes,
So-
it's been through a series of calls, and this started, oh gosh, I want to say, because once we picked up the ball, it was about a month ago that we've been in the full cycle, and we just got the first letter of approval from that's been through underwriting and everything, and we're going to have a conference call today to kind of go through those things, and but I think it's all systems go. So
Wow. Congrats. Does anybody else feel like having a smoke right about now? Because I kind
I
of
mean,
do.
you asked if anybody
I
had a
do.
database win. How could you not share that,
Yeah.
Jimmy Finance?
I,
Just a
I,
little side note.
I, yeah, I would say, yeah, that's a pretty decent database win. And how cool to have Kelly as a resource to be able to throw that over to. So, Kelly, well, we got to get moving along. But Kelly, if people, first of all, if you got deals like that, you come across those oddball deals, those commercial deals, SBAs, that kind of thing, Kelly can help you out. You just go to workwithoneclick.com. So we'll get that link in there. There it is. Thank you,
Thank you.
Justine.
Jimmy, let me know if you need a ride to the bank when you cash that check.
Yeah. well, you got a pickup
Thank
truck
you.
because you're gonna have to throw them pallets of money in the back of it. You know.
Bill Devers
Frank,
has a
can I
bank
ask Kelly
truck.
a quick
We all
question?
know.
Frank,
Brad,
can
you
I
had
ask
something real
Kelly a
quick?
quick question?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Kelly, I'm a correspondent lender. I don't know how this process works. If I had something that you could help me with, do you have to get signed up with my company, or can I do it direct? Even though I'm I'm not a broker, so I don't know how that would work.
Well, good news. All you have to do is know the people. Give me a call and I'll tell you how it's done.
Okay.
No sign up required or anything. I'll take care of everything.
It's just a referral, like
Yep.
bird dog thing. Okay,
Yeah.
thank
Yep.
you.
Yep, and they're business loans too, so getting you paid on it's typically not a problem. So, all right, well, great stuff. Well, congratulations. So, Kelly, also drop in the chat. Hey, guys, if you want to talk to Kelly about anything, bug her in the chat there. She's always on. She's on every day, hanging out with us, and you can always just hit her up in the chat. Kelly, drop maybe your email in there too if you need to do that. And if you guys got a quick question for her, get to it in the chat there. Otherwise, I think we're kind of good to go. Carl, are you here? Carl White?
Yes.
No, he's not. Is he?
Yes.
I didn't see.
He's
He is?
muted.
He's muted. Really?
Don't do it.
Oh,
He's
I'm
not in
doing
his
it.
chair. I see he's on, but he's not in his chair.
I'm doing it. I did it. It was great. I'm going to
He
do it
ran
again.
to get his morning
Wow.
coffee.
I double dinged him. It was great.
But I see his
Frank
screen.
Frank is sad tromboning the king.
Yeah.
Terrible.
He's not in his chair.
Terrible.
He ran to get his beet juice. Let him.
Oh, we went. So we'll do it one more time, and then we'll bring on the star of the show today, Mr. Owen Lee, with the mortgage market update.
Let the man have his beet juice in peace, for crying out loud.
If you're getting value from this already, go ahead and tap that like button. It helps more loan officers find content that actually makes a difference. And hey, if staying ahead of the market and learning what's really working in our industry matters to you, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you don't miss another episode. We read every comment, so drop your thoughts down below. We'd love to hear from you and know what's working or what you'd like us to cover next. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you here next time. What's going on, man?
Not much. Not much. I don't know if you guys can tell. I have my Easter bunny tie on today.
No, it's not.
Happy Easter,
Hold
everybody.
on. Don't even do that. Hold on. Here we go. Oh, look
cute.
at that.
Oh, that's
Mhm.
awesome.
Owen's one of those guys that's got a tie for every occasion.
I know.
Mhm.
I was conflicted because I was going to wear my Detroit Tigers tie because it's opening day tomorrow in Detroit.
Hmm.
So, but I had to go Easter.
All right. Good enough.
I had to go Easter. So not much going on in the financial markets from day to day. I don't know. It's been very quiet, calm, not a lot. Nothing to talk about. Anyway. Let's get right at it. And quick preface, because we finished these slides last night at about 6 o'clock before going home. President obviously spoke last night at 9:30 in the morning. What did he say? What he said is that the military action in Iran, which is a very serious topic, will probably end in 2 to 3 weeks, which the market really likes. And then he said, but in the meantime, we're going to hit them very, very hard, which the market doesn't like. Because they don't know what and where. They don't know if that's oil infrastructure. So the stock market's opening down, the oil market's opening higher. The UMBS market is down about 16, 18 basis points, something like that, depending upon what coupon you're following, which is which based upon the last month is a relatively muted reaction. So, we'll see, so just full disclosure, like I said, if the market starts to go haywire, these were done all as of 5 o'clock last night. But that's how often we're changing these days. So here we go. I just wanted to kind of put something in perspective. We've had kind of a nice run. The market really overarched. There was some activity and some prediction markets that were saying the Fed was going to raise interest rates by the end of the year, which, as you know, on February 28th, we had 2 cuts priced in. So that's a pretty big swing in a month. That's totally the market getting over its skis. I don't really see any evidence of that yet. But let's go to the next slide and take a look at where we're at. And today, I really wanted to concentrate for you guys on the question of how do we talk to our clients about this? So this is what they're seeing, right? Now, I don't know how many of the average clients read Bloomberg, but this is the kind of article that gets picked up and put in an Apple news feed, in a Yahoo news feed, in a MSN news feed, and this is what they see, right? They see mortgage rates in March hit 7-month high. I think we got all the way up to 6 5/8, which is not obviously great. This MBA, and as we all know, I love the MBA, but this is a little bit of a lagging indicator, and we went on a little bit of a run starting last Friday, Monday, and Tuesday of this week. So we're down from this, but this is what they see, right? So this is the kind of news article that gets picked up. People see in their feed. They don't know that it's a week late. And, but so the news, bad news, bad news, bad news, right? So how do we counter that? Let's take a look. Let's go to the next slide. Okay. So this is the truth, right? Perspective matters. This is where we are right now. So the low water mark there, the line on the left by the 2025 circle, right? That's where we were January 1st of 2025, right? So we spent most of the fall of 2020. Remember, down is higher rates. This is reversed from what your normal mind would think. So we spent the first 9.5 months of 2025 in a higher interest rate environment, right? So it's only been since about September 15th that we had lower rates than where we are right now. So if you look at where we were on April 1st of last year, we are about the same based upon a one-day spike, and we spent most of April, most of May, most of June, April, May, June, July, August, and the first half of September in a worse rate environment up around the 7s. So we are in a better spot than we were. Let's get to the next slide so we can take a look at it more in focus of how the typical person thinks. There's a lot of white on this slide, right? So here's a 30-year conforming and a 30-year FHA. Average rate right now. Now, again, this is with like a point and a half discount, right? But look at where the average rate is, 6.351. See the black line? We spent most of the last year higher or much higher, around 7. See the purple line? That's FHA. We spent most of the last year higher than we are right now. So this is good news, right? And I realize, you got to have perspective. Not every decision can be made in light of just the last 90 days. We're still running on average better than we were 12 months ago. we are still closer to the lowest rate to the last 4 years than we are further away. So if anybody would have told us 12 months ago, when interest rates were basically 7%, that we would be 50 basis points lower in rate, I think we would have taken that. So the war has not been good for interest rates. I don't think anybody would argue otherwise, but we got to keep it in perspective. So again, I purposefully did this slide with a lot of white space on it. I think you should put your name, your telephone number, your contact information, write a little 2 or 3 sentences about what this means. These rates that we have right now today are lower than average for the past 12 months. So I think that's important for us to talk about because it'll counter what they're seeing, okay? And let's just go to the next slide real quick. So, So just to put a wrap on that, that's how I would talk to clients. And then I wanted to talk just a little bit. I know a lot of you guys know I talked about the last Thursday. I was in Washington, D.C. last week. I did congressional testimony on the VA Partial Claims Act. So I don't know if you guys remember this, but last year the MBA got a really big bill. The biggest bill we got passed was trigger leads, but the second biggest bill we got passed was the VA Partial Claims Act. And when you're servicing a VA loan, that program is authorized by Congress. So any big changes have to be made by Congress. And so there are about a little over 3 million VA loans out there right now that are active. So you're always going to have a certain percentage of people, right? Veterans are people that have a death, a divorce, a sickness, a job loss, whatever, and need modification. And so we passed the Partial Claims Act because there was no mechanism for modifications in the VA handbook. So the VA has been kind of slow. That legislation's been passed for 9 months. They haven't come out with the rules yet, and they haven't implemented it yet. And Congress, especially the people in Congress that were champions of this bill, are pissed, to be honest. And so they called this hearing. We went to testify, we being the MBA. I'm obviously wearing my MBA hat in these photos. But it was, we wanted to talk about it. And the hardest part of the testimony, I've gotten a lot of reach outs, people that watched it. You can find it on YouTube. A lot of people reached out and talked to me about it. The most interesting thing about it was there's a guy named Patrick Zondervan, and he's the head of single family for VA. He testified right before I did and was sitting 5 feet behind me when I was testifying. And the hardest trick was obviously you're going to answer the questions truthfully, but I can't answer them. The questions were like, isn't the VA being terrible and slow with the rollout of this plan? And I, have to be diplomatic because I don't want to punch the VA in the face because then we got to turn around 2 days later and work with them on the rollout of this program. So most of my answers, and when I was thinking about what the answer was going to be, was, hey, yes, the MBA really enjoys a great working relationship with the VA, and we're thankful for that working relationship. And, and then you would give a muted version of the real answer. And then I got a couple of questions from the Congress people where, some 26-year-old staffer handed them a piece of paper and they asked a question that was just factually incorrect because the staffer got it wrong. And, on one hand, that's upsetting. On the other hand, this is the biggest reason why our industry has to show up for advocacy, because there are 535 members of Congress. Maybe 10% of them have some rudimentary working knowledge of how our industry really works. And there's 2 choices, right? Either we educate them or somebody else educates them about our industry. How's it going to go better for us?
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not necessarily knocking Congress, right? They have to know about housing finance. They have to know about housing policy. They have to know about industry. They have to know about defense. They have to know about agriculture, education, healthcare, foreign relations, right? Their plate is full, but that's why importance of showing up is so great. So here's just a couple of photos of that testimony last week. I also had a private meeting with a guy named Jack Bergman, who's the probable next chairperson of the House Veterans Affairs Committee. So it's very important for the MBA to keep in good contact with Congressman Bergman, soon to be Chairman Bergman. And it's a really, really interesting experience, and one I would love to do again. So I hope I represented the industry well.
You did. Thanks, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you. And here was the best part of DC. I was lucky enough to have my middle child, my son Patrick, come down and hang out with me in DC while I was doing it, and we went out for a little celebratory bourbon after.
Nice.
Oh, that was the best part of my trip.
Hey, Frank.
Anyway.
Hey, Frank.
Yeah.
Did you get that invite?
No.
No.
No, we're always left out. We didn't get invited to Kevin's thing either.
Kristen, do you?
I did not, and Owen knows I like bourbon, so that was disappointing.
Mr. Johnstone, you and Owen are buddies. Did you get a?
I did not get an invite. I think Capitol Hill kind of keeps me a little.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is we don't have the appropriate tie selection. So there is a dress code.
Yeah.
Right.
And come to find out, you can't be a convicted felon. So I was.
It's amazing how those background checks work.
Yeah.
I did see those beautiful cherry blossoms in the background there.
Here, I was leading the charge to defend you when Frank was giving you the sad trombone.
Oh yeah, you missed it. You got like 4 of them. Yeah. So you haven't done that before, Owen? That was your first time testifying in front of Congress?
That was my first time. I've been in and around Capitol Hill before. I've been in 100, informal meetings, but that was the first time I did congressional testimony, under oath, raise your right hand, that kind of that out in the public like that. It was great.
Did you get any? So you don't have any idea what they might ask you, right? You're just going up there armed with what you know and just take it as it comes. Is that it?
Yeah, I did. We had about a day and a half of prep, and the professional staff at the MBA was fantastic at that, and so we did mock hearings. They have a list of things that they tell you that the hearing is going to be about, but they can ask anything that they want.
Interesting.
So,
hey, Owen,
you always got to be prepared for the wild card.
Can I ask a question that's totally off topic? Were you getting ready to go somewhere, Frank?
I was just going to ask, this is so interesting because I think a lot of us can relate to. Maybe I'm doing my first realtor presentation I've ever done, or some first time kind of big deal thing. After you do that, you kind of learn something from it, for the next time. Maybe I was just curious if you had any takeaway like that. Like if I ever do that again, maybe I'll do this or prepare this way or that way, or was it just okay? Everything went just fine.
No, the thing I would do, and I think this relates to the presentations that a lot of us do, right, is I would have spent, when I was asked questions, I would have spent just a little less time searching for the perfect answer, right, and going with the good answer. Because you want to, when you're thinking on your feet and you take that extra second, sometimes you might stumble out of the block or something when you're thinking like, okay, how do I perfectly modify or moderate the fact that the VA's kind of dropped the ball on this? Yeah. I would have just been a little bit more, hey, here's the answer, and you give the preamble sentence that says, we really love these guys and they do great work, but then you just spit it out. So, when you're correlating that to a realtor presentation, hey, remember, in that context, you are the prize, right? Because you're going to make their life easier and you're going to deliver their commission check on time. And so just go with it.
Cool. I came to realize the presentation I did yesterday is infinitely better than the one that I didn't do the day before. However it goes.
Amen.
You know, that even on my worst day, I'll get one, right? Even on my worst day, you know. Hey, I was watching a thing.
And let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Go ahead, Carl.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, I was watching a thing. It's totally different, off topic here. I was watching influencer, somebody, I can't remember who it was, but it was somebody of substance being interviewed about where they saw the Fed rate cuts. And they were predicting that we might see 3 to 4 this year. I know it's kind of early in the game and there's a lot of other stuff going on, but don't we have the new Fed chair stepping in here pretty soon? And you think he or she is going to kind of come out with a bang?
Well, here's what I think 3 or 4 is aggressive, but let me give you the scenario for that. Okay. First of all, Chair Powell is supposed to be replaced next month. The new Fed chair's nomination is going nowhere because there's a senator from North Carolina, Tom Tillis, that's blocking it because Tom Tillis has picked that Trump is investigating Powell for spending too much on the new Fed building. So
go figure.
That'll eventually work itself out. But normally Fed has to balance inflation with job cuts or with the jobs market, right?
Yeah.
That's their dual mandate. And the inflation numbers have been certainly not going up, kind of muted, right? Not perfectly at 2% what they would like, but riding at like 2.4 to 2.7. So decently under control. And the jobs numbers for the past 6-8 weeks, every jobs indication that we've got have really been kind of horrible. And last month we lost jobs. You saw a reaction in the market that lasted for 14 minutes before they went and concentrated back on the war in Iran. And that was a number that really would have moved the needle. So the theory for 3 to 4 rate cuts this year is that the war ends soon, right? There's no permanent infrastructure damage. They can still pump oil. They can still ship it through the Straits of Hormuz. Oil comes back down relatively quickly to where it was, 65 to 75, which is about a third less than where it's trading right now. And then all of a sudden, the Federal Reserve comes back and says, holy crap, look at these jobs numbers. We got to do something about this, right? And there's a new Fed chair who presumably at this point in time, call it May, June-ish, is more pro-cut, which definitely influences the board, but even the Fed chair only has one vote. Amongst, I think it's 11 or 12. So, but that's the case for the 3 to 4 rate cuts this year. If war ends quickly, price of oil normalizes, Fed refocuses on jobs, and the jobs numbers for the last 2 months have been pretty gosh damn horrible, to be honest. And so then they concentrate on that. I think 3 and 4 is a little optimistic. Okay. But if they start to price in 2, we should get back down to 6% in home mortgage interest rates pretty quickly, like within 60 days or something like that. So that's the argument for it. And what happens? Plausible.
So what happens if next month, whoever this is from the beautiful state of North Carolina is angry that they're trying to find misuse of funds being spent? That's just crazy. What happens if they don't come to terms with that? Like, does Powell stay in until they figure that out, or how does that work?
Hi, thanks for enjoying Loan Officer Breakfast Club here on YouTube. I just wanted to drop in and remind you that if you're a newer loan officer and you're trying to get to that 2 or 3 deals a month, or if you're seasoned and you're trying to get from 50 to 60 or 60 to 80, Mortgage Marketing Animals has you covered. We've got the full gambit from start to finish, top to bottom. Everything you need is at mortgagemarketinganimals.com. There's a reason that mortgagemarketinganimals.com is the #1 mortgage coaching platform in the country. So check it out, mortgagemarketinganimals.com.
Yep, he has the option to do that, which he said he will.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and Tom Tillis is the guy's name, in case anybody wants to call his Senate office. And what he's really ticked about is that not that they're looking into the cost overruns, but they're looking into it from a criminal probe point of view. as if somehow they're going to come out with some type of prosecution for malfeasance or misuse of funds, fraud, something like that. And Tillis thinks that's ridiculous.
I know that's off topic a little bit, but I just saw this yesterday and I was just curious about it. And then I'd heard about this.
It is crazy. Yeah. Even if you're the chair or something like that, these guys in Congress, the fact that one person can hold something up like that, I mean, if that one person is the president or maybe the vice president who's won some type of national election, I could see it. For my own taste, I think one person being able to do that who is only elected by the voters of one state is a little bit nuts, but that's just me.
North Carolina is a pretty cool state, though.
It's very cool. I really enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Hey, Owen, before we head out of here, Eric Morgan did have a good question.
Yes,
did anyone in Congress type slides in while you were speaking so they had some? And then also regarding slides, guys, if you want them, you have to go to owensslides.com. That's how you get them now. owensslides.com. We're going to put that into the chat. owensslides.com. Go there, put your info in. You'll download them right away. So that way it makes it cleaner.
Listen, I will, Frank, if I can just say one more thing, everybody.
Yeah.
Like the congressional testimony and everything was great, but the most important thing of the moment is use that chart with all the white space on it.
Yeah.
Show your borrowers, show your prospective borrowers, show your realtors. Yes, we are up a little bit, but we're down 50, 60, 70 basis points from where we were 12 months ago at this time. So concentrate on the win. Right? If somebody would have told you 12 months ago that interest rates would be 6 3/8 instead of 7, we'd have been doing cartwheels down the hallway.
Yeah.
So let's not forget that victory. Use that white space. Send it to your pre-approved and looking. Send it to your realtors. Become their expert. And let's get them off the fence because it's still a great time to buy. That from a last 3 to 4 years perspective, it might not be the absolute best moment, but it's like in the 85th to 90th percentile.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. Thank you, Owen. Thank you, brother. Always a pleasure. We're blessed to have you always, man.
Yep.
Thank you so much for being here. Can we count on you next week? Will you be around or are you traveling? You're hobnobbing somewhere?
Nope. I'm going to visit all my friends at the Fort Worth Mortgage Bankers Association on Tuesday and Wednesday, but I will be back on Thursday.
Okay, so we're good for Thursday. Great stuff. Thank you as always, my friend. It's a great pleasure.
Yep.
Great asset. Yeah.
Speaking of cool people, I hear we have a special guest next week.
Okay. Well, which are you talking about? Kimber?
Yeah. How cool is that?
So Kimber's going to be here next week. Kimber White of NEM, and there's all this condo regulations that have changed, and so he's going to kind of give us the lowdown on everything that's gone down there, and then also tell us, how we can take advantage of that in our marketing and our business generation. So that's going to be great. That's going to be on Wednesday next week. So that'll be cool.
Hey, and let me tell you something, everybody. Helping these associations out is a very, very, very big deal. That I'm 1,000% convinced back in 08, 09 when we had that crash, if it wasn't for the associations, we'd all be working for the two big banks. Like I really believe they're the ones that literally kept our whole industry afloat.
Yeah.
So for those of you that are part of your state associations, we give our thanks to you, and make sure you support the bankers and the brokers and all these different associations. They're the one that keeps they're the ones that puts the thumb on the scale for all of us. So be sure.
Yeah, and don't hesitate to serve on them. You know what I mean? That's the best way to get involved, right? Yeah. So good stuff. Yeah. All right, great stuff. Again, Owen Lee, thank you, sir. Always a pleasure. You guys have a great day. Let's get out of here. We'll be here manana with Chris Johnson, who's going to talk about what, Chris?
We're going to talk about the claw. The claw. So AI has changed. Yes. So if you've heard about OpenClaw or you've heard about these personal assistants, essentially, that you can have that run every day that actually do tasks for you. Like we used to be able to get like reminders and information sent to us. Now you can set up what's called a claw, and it can actually do repetitive tasks for you every single day. So we're going to talk about that and how that relates to database marketing and setting up appointments with qualified.
Interesting. All right, wait. You can't leave. I can't. I'm either A, you're going to tell me now, or B, I'm getting ready to call your cell phone. Which platform are we going to be showcasing tomorrow?
So,
Like on this Claude thing, is it one particular platform like ChatGPT or Claude or something like that?
Yeah, it's Claude.
Or do we need to show
everything.
up do we need to show up tomorrow and you're going to text me the answer here in 10 seconds?
so we're going to talk about Claude tomorrow. So Claude, the
I've
tool,
heard.
but it's going to be like an overarching conversation around the big idea because we've got to conceptualize it first before we can go and use it. So that's
Yeah.
like, what is it? How do we understand it?
Yeah.
Apply it to our business because it's the
I've heard some good things about Claude. I've heard
yeah.
it's a formidable competitor with Chat.
Yes, but I
Yeah.
think OpenAI just got another somewhere in the range of like $150 billion investment. It's like some type of outrageous number on their valuation, and it's still like over 80% of people using AI are dabbling. That's their entry point. So if we want to get our business recommended to customers, we want to be focused on ChatGPT.
For sure.
If we're building systems that are going to run our business behind the scenes, we're probably building on Claude. And that's going to be part of the
Okay.
conversation tomorrow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Good stuff. All right.
Sorry,
All right,
guys.
well,
That took longer.
let's do it. Let's get out of here. You guys have a great day. Pre-approved and looking day. Give them a call, man. Touch the lead, touch the partner. Don't mess this up. Don't screw it up. Let's go. Do a good job. You guys have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow here at Loan Officer Breakfast Club. Adios.
Have a great day, everybody.